Well, I was thinking, could my role complement her since we're kind of wanting the same thing?
Um, there's a lot of similarity here, actually. Um,
Hmm.
and in fact, oh, this game is very complicated.
It can be.
Okay, I should probably draw like little circles. We've got Divid, who is, to speak outside of your character's knowledge, who is the primary focus for uh, Velvelv's reality of the Senzu to become more and more and more real. Velvelv's sense of his need for an enemy, his need for the alien to be malevolent is very, very, very strong. And in many ways, for someone like Velvelv, the more confirmation that the Senzu are dangerous, the better. Somehow thrives on this fearful anger, right? So Divid is the one who's combating that. If Nurun can understand it, that will go a very long way for Divid to resist more effectively, I think. But that's kind of an if. So I can't just make that uh, I can't just make that an automatic. Whereas, however, if Divid kind of gets his head together, remembers who he is, and that this reality is not, that he's basically been infected with Velvelv's reality, and this is a much more subtle incursion than just assassins, right? This is a more ideological overall reality, you know, invasion of the Senzu's reality. If you can resist that, then Dukin's job would be vastly easier.
Okay.
So we have to actually
So,
take this sequentially.
okay.
We have to
So,
see how Narun does to see
mm,
how hard it is for you, to see how hard it
right.
is for Dukin. Right.
Awesome.
Okay.
So we can't have like just helping adjustments of the basic dice. We actually have to do the rules. I think.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah. Um, so mechanically speaking, this is how you'll get 3 dice instead of 1 from me.
Right.
If she,
Well, let's
let's
fingers
see. Yeah.
crossed for Noonan to make the roll.
Okay, so my trait is finish a task thoroughly because I think she's just trying to do this right.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically treating her boss as a sample.
Right.
I want to figure out what's going on and what.
Mm-hmm. Let's
She's a
run
little bit
this down.
single-minded.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No, I quite like it. Right. I'm interested in what that actually looks like. I mean, you actually go and like take samples and analyze him, which would be amusing.
Actually, I think that's what she's going to at least try and do if she can get close to him without anybody shooting her.
Right. Well, that's what we're up to here. And
So
mhm.
so that would give me 2 die, and then I take 2 from my pool.
Okay, and so then for you, then there is the base of 3, so that's 7 dice.
Wow. Nice.
It's a nice jump start.
Doesn't make a difference.
Well,
Still dice. Yes, it's a success.
All right.
Yes.
Would you like to say what happens, or would you like to?
Too tired.
Okay.
I'll have to take a die.
Sure. And don't forget, if you have lots and lots of dice in your pool, you can always put some into your traits.
So yeah, I probably should.
So, in that case, I'll say what happens. I mean, I quite like the idea of Narun, possibly even immobilizing Divid, right? Which and holding up, a big handful of goop and passing it through lots of colors or something like that. And you can see basically that Divid has been has become almost a reality portal point of a different sort. Instead of issuing forth a physical assassin, he is literally changing the Senzu's reality to match Velvel's view of them, so that their various installations and things are becoming more and more dangerous. So it's very much the idea, if you are hyper oriented toward defense against the enemy, you're literally turning them into the enemy that you unconsciously want. So, everything Divid is doing right now, if he gives off all these spores and whatever, unless he can overcome it, this influence, he's going to only amplify Velvel's influence on everything. So the fact that he's about to give off all this influence, in fact, he's doing it right now, yeah, exactly, is like the worst thing that could happen, unless you can, act upon this and actually help him stabilize who Divid is, instead of just being this satellite of this massive Mercap, collective presence. So therefore, but you succeed. And so, instantly you will attempt to modify what he's producing, which probably means you're, dumping compounds on him or something like that. Divid, you're starting, I think you're kind of half puddle, half Mercap at this point.
Right.
So,
I'm an ooze. Those guys live on our third moon, the slimes.
That's right. Yeah. And so now is your turn, but now you get 3 dice instead of 1.
Okay. So, I'm trying to calm down the situation.
You are bringing it into a reality in which the Senzu are not a threat, partly because now you realize, due to Narun's activity, you are comprehending that is an imposed reality in the first place.
Okay. Now, which would be, I've got 2 traits that I can use here. I can use my Xenopharma Adept, which would be specifically for, using our spores on other species, or the reality shifting, where I'm trying to reality shift.
It seems like the reality shift is more important because you're actually combating Velvel more than you're affecting the Senzu, if that makes any sense.
Okay, cool. So I've got how many dice?
3 from me.
All right. And my 1, and I'll use 2 from my trait, which gives me 6 dice.
All right.
Which, in theory, one of these should come up in my favor.
No.
And again, none of them come up in my favor.
Oh no. Okay. So what this means is that Divid is going to deliquesce all over the place, and although Narun is doing her best to chemically, aid the real Divid, you can feel his comprehension slipping away. The spores that are being released are probably combinations, but the majority are pro Velvelv.
Right.
And it's not just, this is so powerful that the soldiers with their weapons now look far more militarized. The plasma rifles are scarier looking. The chant of Kazi is more like a war prayer, like so like protect us and give your lives for our protection, things like that. And That leaves Dukin with a single die from me.
That's right. Good luck.
I don't know. That's kind of a, you know what? That seems like too much of a gate. I'm going to say you're going to get 2 dice because of Nurin's success, but not 3 because I want Nurin's success to carry through to the end here somehow. So
She probably has been talking all the time she was trying to
right. And Dukin
figure
is
out
very
what happened.
perceptive of these things, and so therefore you can tell that there are 2 realities basically emerging from Divid at this point.
All right.
What's the
Here we go.
You got the trait?
I got
Yeah.
5 dice.
Excellent.
So-
Okay.
Your 2, my 2, and then 1 from my pool.
Don't grow up to be
Here we
like
go.
me.
That's right.
All right. How many dice did you roll, Jared? 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm only rolling 5, so I should get more successes. That's Renee math.
You got a 1.
Yay.
All right. Whew. So, talking or die?
I'll talk. I
Okay.
didn't lose anything there.
Okay.
I'll give Rod a break.
And besides, this is sort of the end point of all of this, right? I mean,
Yeah. So, so, Dukin, when he's releasing his look, it's just almost like a cloud of just colors and light, and and through like that kind of haze, you see things kind of changing shape and form, and all the senzu, like, scary looking stuff becomes more like, their homes, their community as they probably see it. And all the other stuff is, like I said, just kind of, those shadows are kind of lightening up, almost like a light is coming across, and that other stuff is going away. Looking a little bit concerned at Professor Divid, because I was like, yeah, right, Divid, right?
it's up to you to say whether it's up to you to say whether you can reconstitute him, actually. I mean, you've got the big narration here, so
yeah. So I'll be with Narun, doing her thing and kind of prodding and poking. I'm trying to talk him through it. I'm like, do you see? Do you see now, Professor David? Do you see what is now being brushed away, like cobwebs, dirty, scary cobwebs, but nonetheless, we're brushing those away, so you can see these people are not here to hurt us yet, hopefully. So I'm just trying to show him and as well, kind of gesturing to the guys with the guns as well. Like, everybody, it's okay. We all need to take a breath. It's not what you think. Let's look again. So
cool.
That's what I do.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So the reality of the situation resists this surrounding environment. Remember the war zone that you guys actually walked through, right? That's Velvel's reality of what having the senzu here means. So therefore, it is no surprise that it affects the senzu themselves. It makes them, the enemies that he expects, and that they have been doing their very best to resist. The chemistry that they've been using has actually been defensive and was working pretty well until two somebodies had to go and provide a conduit for Velvel to strike more directly. So yeah, in many ways, you guys are as much a problem as a solution here if you're not careful. So at the moment, I suspect that Dukan 2, is probably getting, sort of injected by Narun. Ow, junk. Here, some of this, keep this going. And my take too is that Izuik at this point, basically is looking right at Dukan and says, "What is happening to us?" And he even loses his patience and turns over to Kazi and says, "Will you stop?" He's tired of the praying. Right? So, no, sorry, Jerry, go ahead. Or whoever.
Who wants to field that question? Who wants to explain that in layman terms to the Senzu?
Yeah, Tukan explains. I want that analyst guy. I need somebody I can talk to.
That's okay. That's a good point. I mean, the fellows.
We need to figure out
yeah.
how to counter this.
Yeah, this
much
is
more effective.
Mm-hmm. That's Vicky. Remember Vicky, the chemical analyst. And so that you can express the need for that, which is probably understandable only by your fellow mercaps, but you've expressed it. And Izuik, continues and says, we can defend ourselves, and we can against this, this attack that I don't know why it started. We can defend ourselves, but not if the ourselves is changed. Right? I mean, we thought we had defenses against this. What is happening?
I'm just as confused. I will tell you that, coming back and being with other races has opened my mind in a whole new way that doesn't involve chemicals or other realities.
Yeah, exactly. The other two mercap are like, what?
What? And I've learned to communicate in a different way, primitive, but in some ways almost a breath of fresh air, as it were. And to actually speak to these people and understand their place here, I think is where we need to begin, and not see them as enemies or perceive them as any kind of threat, unless we make them a threat, which I think someone's trying to do for some reason. I think that's what we have to get to the bottom to. Why are they trying to make the Senzu a threat? And I think we all need to look at their newly appointed god. I won't say his name rhymes with Monomon, but
right.
He's got something to do with this in a way that's it's rather startling. I didn't know we were all going to go around trying to be deities. It's a whole new kettle of fish. So, Dr. or Professor Divid hopefully has gotten over his vapors and is with us. He can perhaps add some clarity as well.
Izuik says, "Do I understand correctly that you want to talk to Kazi? You want to investigate the worship of Monom?"
Indeed, I do.
All sorts of messengers and dispatches and things are starting to arrive. People are demanding orders and what is the procedure? What are we doing? There's been contradictory, communiques. There's been, reports. There was a report of a mass attack about to occur. We were going to launch the Psychonauts against them. Psychonauts standing by. Code 44. Give the last two digits. so we can launch the Psychonauts, right? And so all these different kinds of communiques are coming in, and Izowic's going to have to field a lot of these. And he says, my trust is not complete. Dukan, can you address whatever it is you need to address with Kazi? Can I have Vicky speak to the other two? I think that's the only person that we have who can go make any headway with these companions of yours.
Certainly.